I see everybody got the email or the message we were having a press conference today. So welcome to the Peyton Manning locker room here at Neyland Stadium on the campus of the University of Tennessee. This time I'd like to introduce the Vice Chancellor and Director of Athletics at the University of Tennessee, Mr. Dave Hart.
Well, thank you all very much, and thanks for this great turnout to welcome our new football coach, Butch Jones, and his family. And I'm going to begin by asking Butch if he'll introduce, you're going to be impressed by this because this happened in the team meeting, if he'll introduce his lovely wife first and then let his children introduce themselves to you.
Good afternoon, and excited to be joining the family, and I'd like to introduce my wife, Barb. How many years have you been married?
20.
Married 20 years. And then these are my three boys. Stand up, introduce yourselves, and tell them how old you are.
I'm Alex, I'm 16.
I'm Adam, and I'm 11. I'm Andrew, and I am 5 years old.
And Andrew's already committed to Tennessee.
We welcome this great family to our family, and because now they're part of the Vol family. In case you are somewhat unaware, we've been in a coaching search recently without much fanfare or people offering opinions. We've moved through the search to a conclusion. You know, rarely in life is anything exactly what it seems to be. Life doesn't throw us all fastballs. It throws us curves, and then you got some screwballs. No, I'm not referencing anybody in this room. And so you have to be able to adjust. You know, I was an English teacher and a coach, young coach, when I got out of college. And teaching English, you know, I've always had a line from the poem, "If," as a fundamental principle to live by if you're in a leadership role. If you can keep your head about you when all around you are losing theirs, I think that's part of being a leader. And I'm proud to be in this leadership role as Vice Chancellor and Director of Athletics at the University of Tennessee. We have the best fan base anywhere in any sport here in Knoxville. And one of the selling points to Butch was he'll never be around a more passionate fan base than the fan base we enjoy here in Knoxville. It is my pleasure to introduce the head football coach at the University of Tennessee, Butch Jones. Where have we got the helmet? Where's the helmet, Jimmy? Oh. He's sleeping.
Jason.
He's sleeping with it. Jason, quit texting. Here, we just take a couple of minutes here, Coach. Okay, thank you. Put this right here.
Thank you, and good afternoon. And it truly is an honor and a privilege to be your football coach. And you know, I'd like to thank some people. Obviously, you know, Chancellor Jimmy Cheek, thank you for everything. Thank you, Dave, for everything and giving me this wonderful opportunity to lead the best college football program in America. And I truly believe that. And we're going to do some very, very special things. It's been kind of a whirlwind. And, you know, I started my morning off back in Cincinnati with the 7:30 team meeting with my outgoing team. And, you know, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't thank everyone back at the University of Cincinnati, from Whit Babcock, President Santaono, and Team 125. And, you know, players make good coaches. And I think the most amazing thing is I believe in total honesty with your players. I think when you're honest with them, they'll go to bat for you. And I walked in the room, and obviously it got deathly silent, and they wanted to know what was going on. And when I told them that I accepted the head coaching position at the University of Tennessee, they all started clapping. and appalling. And I think that that's a tribute to our program. So I'd be remiss if I didn't thank them. I'm fired up because I just left my new team, and I'm excited. And we started in small steps to kind of lay the foundation and the standard that's going to be in our football program. So obviously I'm excited to roll my sleeves up and get started. But it's our goal to give everyone the kind of football program that you can be extremely, extremely proud of, and to continue to build upon the legacy and the proud tradition that the University of Tennessee has been so proud of throughout the years. To our great and passionate fan base and everyone here that loves this program, we'll be working to be champions each and every day. We will be a champion in everything that we do. That's not only on the field, but off the field. It starts in the classroom. It starts graduating with a meaningful degree. It's being a productive citizen. It's being active in our community. That's what winning's about. And I really believe that if you win off the field, you will win on the field. We'll be a champion in all that we do. We're going to start from day one to create our culture and our players that it takes for them to understand how to succeed on a day-to-day basis and the standards which they will abide by. I want to start off and probably answer some questions before you answer them. First of all, our coaching staff. I'm up here today. I can assure you that we will put together the best football staff in the country. Not just the Southeastern Conference, but the entire country. And I have a checklist of what I'm looking for. First of all, it starts with character. I want individuals with tremendous character, and then I want great teachers. Great teachers of the game of life, great teachers of the game of football, fundamentalists, motivators. And there's a difference between teaching and presenting. Anybody can present anything, but we want great teachers and individuals that have a passion to be here at the University of Tennessee. To our letter winners, you are the foundation. You will have an open door policy at our practices. You have laid the foundation for us to have much success for many years to come. And I'm a firm believer, our letter winners are the program, and they will be welcome back at any time. And I look forward to getting to know everyone. I've had about 18 text messages from Charles Davis, and I'm going to probably get Peyton in trouble, but about 4 days ago I got a text message from Peyton Manning, and he was selling me on Colorado, and he said it's hard for a person from the University of Tennessee to be selling somebody to come to the University of Colorado. And I wanted to text back, well, come on, let's go. I want to go to Tennessee. But so I look forward to obviously talking with him. The next piece, obviously, as we move forward is recruiting. You win with players. And let me make no mistake about it. We are going to win first and foremost with the great state of Tennessee. We have tremendous high school coaches in this state. We are the state institution, and we will own our state. We're going to be in every high school in this state, and our players are going to understand what it is to wear the Power T. They're going to understand what it means to represent their home institution. And so I take great pride in that. In closing, we have great expectations for this football program. I know that we live in an instant gratification society, and everybody wants everything at once. But I will tell you this, we're going to inch by inch, inches make the champion. And we're going to go to work, and I don't know how long it'll take, but I'm going to tell you, you're going to be proud of this football team. You're going to be proud of this football program. And I'd like to thank Derek Dooley for laying a foundation and all the coaches in the past. Again, it's all about the Tennessee football family, and you're a part of it. And I look forward to embracing all the great traditions that come with it. In closing, I will give my all for Tennessee today. So thank you, and I'll answer any questions that you may have.
Raise your hand, we'll bring your mic around to you.
Coach Jim Logan with the ABC affiliate here in Knoxville. Your thoughts on stepping in, you had success in Central Michigan and Cincinnati, stepping into the SEC, the conference is obviously pretty well respected nationally, going up against the likes of a Saban or Miles. Your thoughts on that challenge?
Well, Jim, you know, if you want to be the best, you want to compete in the best. And obviously, the SEC is the best football conference in the country. You know, I have many great friends that compete at this level, you know, on this center stage, and I look forward to it. But I think you have to do is look at our football staff and our body of work. You know, 6 years, 4 championships. And the plan is infallible if the players buy into it and believe in it, and they will. But it's a process. But, you know, the thing is, I think you have to look at the body of work. It hasn't just been performed at one institution. It's now been formed at 2 institutions along the way, and I look forward to the 3rd here at Tennessee. But I'm extremely excited about it. I will be the first to tell you that Nick Saban and Les Miles had 0 SEC experience when they came into the league. And so that's all I'll say there.
Welcome to town. Rick Russo, WVLT Local 8 News.
And they both had Michigan ties, too, just so you know.
The previous coach was given 3 years to prove himself. Was that a concern of yours when you were trying to decide whether or not to take this job?
Absolutely not. You know, this, again, is a job. This is a football program. This is a community that I hold very high. And I just wanted an opportunity to be the head football coach here. And I'm excited about that opportunity. And I think you win with consistency. I think you win with continuity. But that once never altered my mind, because I believe in what we do. I'm going to believe in our players. I think there's a good foundation here. Now we have to obviously go out and recruit and continue to bring in high-caliber football players here to Knoxville.
Mark Packer, WVLT Local 8 News as well. You've got a fan base, as Dave said, that's very passionate, but a fan base that hasn't seen a conference title in 14 years, yet expects a national title every year. How do you temper patience versus an immediate need to win?
Well, first of all, our fan base and myself had the same expectations. You know, we're working to be the best. We're working to be #1 every day. And we're working to be national champions. We're working to be SEC champions. Here's the thing. This program has done it, and we'll do it again. And that's the thing, I think, you know, when you talk about things that attract you, the tradition that we have here is second to none. The pride that we have here is second to none. All we have to do is get a student athlete on campus. If we get a student athlete on campus, they should be sold. You know, with all the commitment of resources to what we're doing, but not now. I mean, when I spoke to Dave, you know, in the interview setting, I saw a vision. You know, he's an individual who never stops. You know, you keep growing, and that's the thing is whether you're a director of athletics or a head football coach, you get to paint the vision for your athletic department and your football program. And that's one of the reasons why that attracted me to come here as well. So I have the same expectations, and I'll tell you this. Nobody puts more expectations than my wife and my 3 boys. If we lose a game in a Jones household, they don't talk to me for a week. So I think they all have their own blogs too. So, but we have great standards and expectations.
Coach Steve Phillips from WBIR and the NBC over here in Knoxville. You had an interesting week. You had an opportunity in Colorado. You're watching Tennessee go through the interview process at a job you said you really wanted. Can you kind of take us through how all that impacted you and your decisions that you made first in Colorado and then here?
Well, you know, I'm a firm believer that things happen for a reason. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's about a fit. And, you know, things happen for a reason, and I believe that. And, you know, I made a decision. I had a great job. You know, I had a great group of young men that really bought in. I said it at the University of Cincinnati. I thought we were the greatest story in all of college football, to be at 9-3 and to have a chance for double-digit wins. And we lost more NFL productivity than anybody in the country. You know, when you look at Derek Wolfe, first-round draft pick of the Denver Broncos, John Hughes, third-round draft pick of the Cleveland Browns, Isaiah Pede, second-round draft pick of the St. Louis Rams, J.K. Schaefer with the Cincinnati Bengals. I can go on. Adrian Robinson, fourth-round draft pick of New York Giants. And our players overachieved. So I was very, very proud of them, and I made a decision to stay there because of that. It was a gut feeling. I'm very instinctual. I trust my gut. And so, you know, taking my name out of consideration for other jobs had no bearing on the University of Tennessee. And then it came along. And it was a tremendous opportunity. And I'm very fortunate and very proud to be your head football coach.
From WBIR as well. For the fans that haven't seen your body work at Central Michigan or at Cincinnati, what does Butch Jones football look like?
Great question. Well, we've won 4 championships in 6 years, and I think you're going to see, first of all, a disciplined football team. You know, offensively, we're going to be a team that takes care of the football. If you look around the country, you know, the greatest stat for wins and losses is turnover margin. So we're going to be a football team offensively that takes care of the football. We're going to be an up-tempo, no-huddle offense. I don't like to use the term spread offense because I think a negative connotation comes with the spread offense, this word called finesse. We're going to be a physical style offense, and we're going to be a pro-style offense. And then defensively, we're going to be a team that swarms to the football, and we're going to be a team that generates turnovers and a team that doesn't beat itself, and then we'll win the field position game in special teams. And it's a mindset. We'll do some different things. You know, great teams have a style of play that's only unique to them. And I really believe it's a whole body of work. It's a foundation where everybody believes and speaks the same language, from when they walk into the training room, when they walk in the training table to eat, in our strength and conditioning area, in our academic counselors and academic settings, you know, and our coaches. It's one program, and we're all bought into one single mission. And I think when you have that, you know, that breeds success.
Coach Heather Harrington, WNML, a sports animal. I'm just wondering, there's a recruiting dead period looming. What do the next few days look like for you as you're trying to assemble a staff, figure out where you are recruiting, and evaluating the current players that are already on the team?
Working 24 hours. You know, that's the big thing, is because of the recruiting calendar, we'll have 1 week. And, you know, I'll obviously make contact with prospective student athletes and try to work to solidify our recruiting class. There'll be some challenges involved. Plus, also, I want to meet with our current team. You know, I want to meet with every individual. You know, I want to talk with them. I want them to get to know me, so it's going to be a busy week.
John Adams, Knoxville News Sentinel. Butch, you said your team was applauding when you made your announcement. That seems kind of unusual. Could you elaborate on that?
Well, everything we do in our football program is based off of the core value of family. You know, it's a brotherhood. And I've been very upfront and honest with our football team through this whole process, and we're very close. You know, I don't like to use the term players coach because I think they think you're soft by nature, and I told our football team, I'm going to push you every day, because my biggest regret is that you would leave the University of Tennessee and you'd say, I wish you would have pushed me a little bit harder. But we're also going to love them, and we're going to care about them as people. And so I think when you have that relationship, it's respect. And, you know, I told them I did it for my family, and I told them this was my dream job. And, that, you know, I've already basically had either verbal communication via phone or text messaging with just about every player on my football team ever since that. And that's the way we run our football program, and that's the way we'll do it here.
Coach Zaid Hakeem with CSS, Comcast Sports Southeast out of Atlanta. Have you had a chance to meet with the Tennessee team here yet?
Yes, I did.
What was the reaction of some of their the leaders and the seniors that were on the team, or the upcoming seniors on the team?
Well, you know what? I sensed an excitement level. I sensed a passion to want to win, and it was a very short meeting, basically an introduction and kind of get them going, to kind of let them kind of feel my personality and all that, and then we'll roll our sleeves up next week when I'm in a little bit and meet one-on-one. But it was just kind of get to know each other and kind of lay the foundation for the weeks to come when we hit the ground running once break is over with our strength and conditioning program.
Lewis, VolQuest.com. You mentioned you wanted to play up-tempo on offense with, you know, spread elements. As part of that, would you prefer to have a running quarterback, or are you adaptable to that regards? And on defense, Tennessee was caught a little bit of transitioning to a 3-4 look. What's your preferred mode on that side of the ball?
Well, Rob, I think the best coaches are the ones that mold their schemes around the players that they have. And so, you know, this year we didn't have a running quarterback. We made a change midway through the year. He's a drop-back passer. So, you know, we're going to play to the strengths of our players, and our offense is quarterback-oriented. Make no mistake about it, around the country, whether it's high school, college, or professionals, it starts with the quarterback. There's only 2 individuals who touch the ball in every snap, the center and the quarterback. So the quarterback is critical to our football team. So we'll base our offense around the quarterback skill set. Defensively, we'll go back to a 4-man front. We'll have some pressure situations, but we'll be a defense that does not beat itself and make you drive the football. I believe in the last 2 years, we've been top 25 in the country in total defense, and we've been 1 or 2 in the Big East in total defense, and scoring defense as well. Everything's about scoring defense. It's not giving up points, So obviously I think you win, especially in the Southeastern Conference, you win championships by playing great defense. Make no mistake about it.
Fallon Smith, WATE ABC affiliate here in Knoxville. Going back to the fan base, this passionate fan base, I think some of these fans think they're on the team. But there's been some negativity, obviously, on Twitter. How do you deal with the early on negativity, and how do you win these fans over?
Well, I don't pay any attention to that. That's just clutter. And we always talk about distractions, and my focus is on winning championships here. And I think if you look at our body of work, there hasn't been a more successful football program than ours, and there hasn't been a coaching staff who's had more success than us. So I think it's a body of work, and the only thing we can do is prove it to them. And I look forward every day to proving it to them. And I think that's human nature. So I don't pay any attention to that. I came from a pro at the University of Cincinnati. It's a pro town, so I'm used to anything and everything. I'm kind of thick-skinned by now.
Hey, Coach. Patrick Brown from the Chattanooga Times Free Press. You talked about your staff. Have you given much thought to how many guys you'll bring from Cincinnati, and have you reached out to anybody else about any potential staff positions?
Again, I'm still evaluating where we're at with that process, and it's my job as the caretaker of Tennessee football to bring in the best staff to get us to compete for championships. So I'm going to do my due diligence. There'll probably be a few individuals that accompany me from the University of Cincinnati, but I can assure you we're going to leave no stone unturned to attract the best best coaches here in Knoxville.
Mark Packer, again, WVLT. You said this has been your dream job. How long has it been your dream job, and was it when you brought your Cincinnati team here 2 years ago?
It's been my dream job for a while, and I think, I grew up, watching Tennessee football. And you look at all the greats that have played here. You look at the tremendous, this is the greatest venue in all of college football to play. And obviously when we came here last year, that just solidified everything. What a great home field advantage, that we have. And that's why, I'm already going to put the plug in. We need to fill Neyland. We need to make this, again, a great home field advantage. You need to buy your season tickets right now. But, it's been this for a while, and I think, you look at the crowd that we have here today in a short notice, there's passion, and that just motivates me that much more. You look at our facilities, you look at the vision here, there's no reason why we should not win here.
Mike Strange from the Knoxville News Sentinel. This program's been beat up here for a few years, and when Coach Hart announced the coaching search, he talked about some things that had to be overcome, whether it's academics or financial. Did any of that scenario give you pause, and how do you think, what's your take about overcoming any of that?
Well, we can overcome everything because there's a great plan in place. And anytime there's a great plan in place, you can overcome all that. And, Dave has a tremendous plan in place. He's done his due diligence, and so we're going to be fine. And there's a great plan, and there'll be no problems there.
Paul Fortenberry, VolQuest.com. You talked about owning the state and recruiting. Can you specifically speak on Nashville and Memphis? You've done some recruiting there when you were with Cincinnati. Just how important are those two areas to the success recruiting here at Tennessee?
Well, Nashville and Memphis are critical, but I think it's the entire state, and every coach on our staff is going to have an area of Tennessee, and we're going to be visible. This is our home state, and we're going to be visible. We're going to do a lot of different things with camps. We're going to do a lot of things with coaching clinics, attracting these great coaches to get them on campus so we can show them what we have to offer. But, we're going to do our diligence in this state because I think it's important that, when you take an in-state player, they really understands the traditions that are associated with our football program.
Jimmy Helms with the Sports Animal radio station. when you put your staff together, how important is it, do you think, to have coaches that have recruited the South or know how to recruit the South?
Well, I think it's a combination. You know, I've worked for a lot of great head coaches, and, you know, every coach I've come in contact with, if you can recruit, you can recruit. You know, it doesn't matter what school you come from or what area of the country. You know, recruiting is selling. You know, recruiting is a people business. And so, you know, I want the best teachers and best recruiters no matter where we have to go to get them. And so, you know, I do think it's important that we do have some players that know the lay of the land, but or some coaches, but I really do think that if you're a great recruiter, you can recruit anywhere because it's all relationship based.
Coach Larry Fleming with Chattanooga.com. How close were you exactly to signing that Colorado contract? Was it pen in hand close? And why back off? And when did you decide to back off in terms of knowing the Tennessee job was still open? Well,
you know, it's just, you know, Barb and I sat down and really talked about it, and just it was a gut instinct. And, you know, the people at Colorado were great, but at that point in time, we just felt that it was time to stay. And then obviously, you know, the Tennessee opportunity came about. And obviously it was a tremendous opportunity. I've already stated, you know, how I felt about this job.
Did you contact Tennessee or did Tennessee contact you?
They contacted me. I tried. I wore them out, but finally, you know, it's like recruiting, right? You just keep working and working and working, and you finally get through.
Coach Dan Phillips from WZTV in Nashville. Tennessee was going to hire somebody who had success. What makes you different than any of the people who also could be standing where you are right now?
Well, I can't speak of anyone else, but again, I think it's the body of work. You know, we've won 4 championships in 6 years and lost the 5th championship with 7 minutes to go in a game. You know, I think it's a body of work in the way our teams play. You know, from a physical style of play, from a disciplined style of play, to scoring points and being great with defense, with scoring defense. So I think it's an overall body of work, but also I think it's a vision, you know, painting a vision for what you want to do. And a football coach, in my opinion, is a CEO. You know, he has to have so many roles, and I think it's also a motivation factor. You know, coaching is creating change, you know, and getting the most out of your players. And so I just think it's a whole conglomeration of a lot of little things adding up to big things. But I just think you look at our body of work.
Coach Rudy Kales from WSMV TV and NBC in Nashville. You mentioned other people and this being your dream job. Was your pride bruised at all a little bit because someone else turned down the opportunity before you got the opportunity?
Absolutely not. I think I was my wife's 3rd choice, and it's worked out for 20 years. So, we're good.
Coach Jones, Brent Hubbs with VolQuest and Rivals.com. When you sat down with Mr. Hart last night, what questions did you need answered about this job to get to this point today? What questions did you have about the job?
Well, I think, you know, he beat me to the punch when he showed me all of his vision that he has for the football program. You look at our facilities. You look at the ability to attract an upper echelon student athlete to come to school here. You know, you look at the opportunity to play in front of over 100,000 fans every game day. You know, I think the place speaks for itself. You know, obviously we understand the tradition that's associated with this football program. You know, and the other thing, you know, when we talk about a dream job and all that, you know, when I was young and it was Barb and I, we would move anywhere. But when you have 3 children, you're moving, you become more selective. And we thought that Knoxville would be a tremendous community to raise our boys. And so I think that also played into that part as well.
Jimmy Himes again. Which coaches have had the greatest influence on you as a coach?
Well, I tell you what, obviously there's a number of individuals who've really kind of helped define some of my principles. And I think, you know, I've been fortunate to work for a lot of very successful coaches, not just head football coaches, but assistant coaches, many assistant coaches who are now in the National Football League. But obviously, you know, I take a little bit from Rich Rodriguez. You know, I take a little bit from Brian Kelly. I take a little bit from Mike DeBoard, who was the head coach at Central Michigan, who's now the tight ends coach of the Chicago Bears. So I take a lot, but also I think that, you grow friendships. The coaching profession is a very, very small profession, and you form relationships and bonds with certain people. Urban Meyer is a very close friend of mine. We talk a lot. We talk football, and I think that's the thing is staffs get together, and I believe in the can-I principle, constant, never-ending improvement. And so I think there's a lot of individuals who really help me, and I think when you stop improving. You got to continue to search for that inch, search for that competitive advantage, whether it's in recruiting or the way your team plays, whatever it is, you're always searching for that competitive advantage.
Coach Austin Bryce with WBLT and VolQuest. You talk about understanding the traditions. How important will it be to have a so-called Tennessee guy on your staff, or Tennessee guy or two?
Well, I do think that's important, and I think it's really important too for our players. Understand that there's some players that have been there, done that. That have gone through all those things. The trials and tribulations and understanding where to go. So, I'm going to work extremely hard at that component of our staff.
Coach, Patrick Brown again. I think you've signed a handful of guys out of Florida at Cincinnati the past 2 years. Why do you think you've been able to have success down there, and what's your kind of stance in recruiting in that state?
Well, I think, it's all about relationships again. And we've recruited the state of Florida for a number of years. But basically, we've recruited, all over. I recruited the state of Tennessee when I was at West Virginia. So I've been here before. So, I think that, again, it's relationships. But, I've recruited all over the country. And we're going to go where the best football is. But above all else, we have a recruiting profile of the individual that we're looking for here at the University of Tennessee. And it stems from play specifics of height, weight, to 40, to athletic ability, to a character makeup. And I think the passion to get a college education, that's first and foremost. So I think there's a whole recruiting profile that goes into it. And the great thing about Tennessee, it's a national brand. You can walk in any high school in the United States of America, and when they see your shirt, when they see your logo, they know who you are.
You mentioned a CEO role before. Do you give your coordinators pretty much free reign, or do you get more involved with the offense?
Well, obviously I have an offensive background, so I'll sit more in the offensive meetings, but I'm a CEO. I'm going to make sure that we're all on the same page, offense, defense, and special teams, but also I'm hiring a staff to do their job. And I'm not a micromanager. I want to know everything. You'll see me at practice. It'll be high energy. I'll be involved in all three phases, but I'm not a micromanager. I'm going to assemble the best staff in America, and I'm going to let them coach.
Coach Zaid again with Comcast Sports Southeast. Do you expect to be coaching Cincinnati in their bowl game?
No. I'm going to be here working and getting ready to go.
And the second part of the question is, do you expect to reach out to T. Martin and have him possibly joining your staff?
Well, I'm still in that investigative stage, so to speak, of really trying to put together a really qualified staff, and obviously he's a great coach. We all understand what he's meant to this football program, so obviously he would be an individual that we would reach out to, but we're going to reach out to a lot of individuals.
Fallon Smith again with ABC affiliate in Knoxville. Speaking to some of the UT commits, they said they're excited to play for you because you are a quote-unquote players coach, that you connect with your players. Do you take pride and ownership in that? And speaking with the players today at 1:30, did you feel like an automatic connection, or is that what you were trying to portray at least?
I did. I felt a great connection. I felt an energy, a passion level. And, I grew up the son of a chief of police for 35 years. I've been around people. I believe in studying body language. I really believe in the human element of what makes individuals tick. I always tell our players, what are you selling today? You're either a fountain or a drain. We talk about an energy vampire. And I tell you what, our kids are excited. And so, I take great pride in that. But again, I'm going to push these student athletes to be the best that they can be, but I'm also going to be there for them. And there's a few individuals, the Kenny Bynums, that we recruited at Cincinnati. He was actually committed to us, so I told him now it's payback time. So now we're finally on the same team. Nathan Peterman, same thing. It came down between Cincinnati and Tennessee. I'm very familiar, I would say, with about half of the roster on our football team right now.
Hey, Butch. Brendan Quinn, Knoxville News Sentinel. This morning, speaking with the media in Cincinnati, your old AD, Whit Babcock, said that he was fairly confident that he was going to get you back next year. Can you just tell us about that, the actual moment that you decided that you were ready to put, pen on paper?
Well, I think, when you talk about, we've all talked about players, coach, and relationships, and change is hard, and that's what I told our current football team, is change is unsettling, but it's how you embrace the change. And, I've invested three hard years there, and Whit Babcock is a very, very close friend of mine, and so it's hard to say goodbye, because, again, I'm standing up here today because of the success of our players back at Cincinnati. It's just like a quarterback. I think sometimes coaches get too much praise, when they win, and too much blame when you lose. And we have a phrase that we say, praise and blame, it's all the same. And but I'm standing up here today because of our team at Cincinnati, because they were successful. So it's difficult, but when you walk in here and, you meet your new team and the goals, and you come in here, you're intoxicated with success here. You can see all the great players. We're standing in the Peyton Manning locker room, the greatest quarterback of all time. So I'm excited to get going, and I feel a sense of energy here and a commitment.
Thanks, Coach. Go ahead and take some photos.
Thank you.
One thing I just thought, sorry. In the spirit of full disclosure, I didn't tell you about our schedule. Next year we go to Oregon, Alabama, and Florida. It's something I forgot to tell you.